Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. This is Open Talk Show. We appreciate you coming back and supporting our channel. Right now, we would like to discuss. We have Paula, we have Jaw, Driver, Trini, and Goddess, and your girl Kels. So we're going to get into this discussion. Paula, how do you feel about this topic?
Okay. Well, I'm a bit torn in between. I didn't grow up with the traditional mom, dad, cat and dog family, so my thing all over the place technically. So I don't want to say I'm biased with that, but you leave your home and you're supposed to find yourself some stability. But in terms of saying choice between choosing, I'm in the middle of everything right here, because I didn't have, a lot of daddy input to be comparing with husband input. But you're supposed to, you choose a partner so you can just make a difference with your kids then, and that's how I am in the middle of that. But there's no compare. You leave your house and you go build your own little family and make that work for you in terms of choices. There's no back and forth, oh, I want to prefer one over the other type of thing for me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and I love me some mama boys. I like that. When a man is a mama boy, it just said to me, he gonna treat me a certain way, because he loves his mommy certain ways, but not deep in that it's gonna be interrupting she in your life and it's gonna be a choose choice type of situation. No, it's supposed to be some form of division there for me. I didn't grow up seeing it. It was supposed to see. I can't ever say, oh, my dad was the first man I fell for. And, they said your dad is supposed to be the first man you fall in love with and they teach you how to love. Like, no, I didn't grow up seeing my parents together. So for me, it's try to build your own situation and give your kids a little more stability than what you got. And hopefully they'll grow up to be nice, loving children, different from what you didn't get, you know what I mean?
Right.
And as I said, I like a guy who's a mama's boy, but not in terms of it interrupts my life. You know what I mean? She can love me. She can invite me in as a daughter as well, but not get involved and be all up in our business. No, it's okay. But he'll supposed to be treating me nice like how he grew up with his mommy, but that's it.
So right now we would just like to thank Paula for stepping in. Because of time restraints, she's unable to continue with the show. But we would like to thank her for stopping in and taking an intermission.
Well, thank you.
Okay. So next we're going to have Trini. Trini, how do you feel about the topic?
I would say it would have to be, if I am married, then my husband would come first. So that's the way it's going to be. If it's just someone I'm with, then your parents come first until you guys have that solid commitment of marriage, of communion. So it's gonna be my husband.
Okay. So next we have Driver. Driver, how do you feel about this topic?
Tying back in with how Paula started off the conversation is she likes herself, a sensitive type of person, a mama's boy. She feels as if she'll be treated better or he'll show her more affection. That's something that's her love language. I've never seen it being a problem, except for in the movies. I've never met someone that had that problem to speak more in depth on it. However, linking with Trini, I do believe that depending on the relationship and where that relationship is, it dictates a lot of things. If you just met someone, obviously, what major say do they actually have in your life? So obviously if a person just entered your life, they don't have that much of a say compared to an established relationship. I wouldn't expect anyone that just entered my life to feel that they could just come and throw their weight around, have them feel that they're insignificant. Like what they say has no ground, has no weight. But to an extent, as the relationship develops, or you're at a point of marriage, or whatever the case may be, a more established relationship, one that's rooted and grounded. Of course, that person, I believe, would naturally come first. But come first in what regard? I believe that everyone should have their own lane. I don't believe it's a case where, the parents should interfere or come around thinking that they have, this right or this title, so they hold a place there. Yes, you hold a place there, but this person also has another life in which the person they're with, their partner, should be respected. And the partner should also know that, the parent has their level of respect, each in their own regard, each has their own lane. Shouldn't really be any crisscrossing. At that point of a relationship, at that level of a relationship, each person should know, how to discuss problems, how to bring things forth to the table, and find a solution. If it's a case where one notices that, hey, I think that your mom or your dad might be, crossing the lines, because this is how this topic would arise. I feel as if, your mom or dad is crossing the line or crossing the boundaries on this regard or this aspect. It is for you guys, to discuss and see the point, or whatever whatever angle it is, that needs to be seen and addressed, and go from there. Address the mother or the father privately, and hey, this is my relationship, this is my marriage, or this is my relationship, or this is my marriage, and I don't expect for you to be crossing these boundaries or create complications within my life. My if you see something and it's a concern to you, you could show me your point, and then I'll assess it from my point of view, and if it's something viable, then I could discuss that with my partner, and
all right, thank you, driver, for your input on that. That was very insightful. Next we have Styles. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Okay, so for me, who comes first? If I had to choose, I wouldn't want to choose anybody to come first. But if I did have to choose, everybody knows I'm a love my father, like cook food. That is the man of my life. That is my daddy. I'm a daddy's girl till the day I die. So, I guess my views would be different, like what Paula said, because not everybody grew up with their dad. But I grew up seeing my mom and dad, since I was born. So for me, it's different because I've grown up to see, the man that he is, how he provided for the family and everything like that. So to me, that is, my daddy is everything to me. So if I had to choose, it will have to be my father. Yes, unfortunately. Okay. Because him bring me into this world. And if it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be here. So, that's how I look at it.
Okay, so if you were making a plate of food, who's getting the plate first? Your husband or your father?
But it's so funny that you said that, because even before I even make a plate for my husband make a plate for my father. So, it's not like he even have a problem with it. And then even before I fix him a plate, I'll fix his mom a plate. So it's not like there's no conflict of interest there. We always fix our parents' plates first, and then we'll, fix each other's plates or stuff like that. So I'm glad that there's no conflict of interest, in that regard. So.
Right. Okay. So next we have Job. How do you feel about this topic?
All right. To be honest, I've had this discussion before, because I had it on my status a few months ago, and a few people were commenting, and we were talking back and forth with it. And my view was, my mom comes first. Reason being, my mom is the reason why I'm here. Next thing, the bond that we have growing up as kids from my parents, yeah. The good thing about it is my mom taught me a lot about how to treat women and so much how to deal with stuff. The other thing about it is that people have to know. Let's put it this way: people have to know when to prioritize, because one, what situation are you going to prioritize? Some people are really, really petty. Like a thing as you're preparing food. To me, the clothes, this is gonna sound away, but not sure the closest person to come to the bag of the food and then go back to the cook. You know, how priority come like that. Everybody have to eat. Huh? To me, that's how we look on it. We don't think nobody better than nobody. That's how we grew up, a matter of fact. I don't think anyone is better than anybody. Yes, I understand it's respect some way. Somehow we look at it that way. But I look at it this way now. If you're preparing food for the family and your kids are there, you know how kids are. You're gonna want to make sure the kids are fed. If they're hungry, you're gonna give the kids food, and you're gonna make sure that your parents have food, and then you eat, right? But when it comes on to saying that, oh, you gotta be prepared, you gotta prepare for your parents, or you gotta prepare for your kids. No, or you prepare for your wife. No, that's just, I think people sometimes are too petty or too selfish when it comes on to prioritizing. I mean, priority, yes, if it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, all right, I'm supposed to pick up my wife from work. My mom is supposed to be going to the hospital. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna leave my mom and go and pick up my wife and come back to bring her to the hospital? No. If my wife is supposed to be going to the hospital and my mom's supposed to pick up from the supermarket, who am I gonna bring first? Am I gonna leave my wife, go and pick up my mom from the hospital, from the supermarket? No. That's where it's just common sense. So when people say that, oh, you're putting this person before this person, no, that's just petty. Or sometimes it's a person's insecurity why they come up with stuff like that, and then that insecurity comes over into the relationship. I've had it before with my previous relationship, where the person said, oh, you pay your kids, you pay your son more attention than that is so petty. I mean, what the, like, yo, this is my son. This child has been around me, even with me, more than his mom. Yeah. So who is supposed to, why am I supposed to neglect him because of you? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm not gonna neglect my child. And it's not like you're gonna be here, I'm gonna not pay any attention, any at all. And just, no, it's just that the kid needs care. The kid need directions, things like that. You understand? So some people are just petty, and some people just don't know to use their common sense and when to do what. I mean, you sometimes, remember, we are big people. No, we are adults. Your adults are supposed to be living on your own. Your parents sometimes will visit, or you will visit your parents. If your parents visit, most times you're gonna be playing host. Who are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna prepare something I'm gonna prepare food. Not even food. I mean, if a simple thing like even on the television, you're probably gonna be playing host. Have them choose what they want to watch or what they want to do, or you're playing host. Simple things like that. But when you're gonna be petty, you say, "Oh, you put your wife, your mom before me, or he's a mama's boy." Yes, I'm a mama's boy. I'm a proud one too. I don't give a fuck nobody want to say, because I know the struggles that my mom been through with us. Yeah, and I know where we're coming from. So for someone to come and say, "Oh, you're putting your mom before me," at the end of the day, this person who's telling you that can change your mind just like that and say, oh,
Exactly.
for whatever reason, they're leaving. Whatever, even if you want to say for better or for worse, people change. And people just have to accept that people will change and people will start liking different things from what you like. Yeah? So if that's the case and you have to separate, what are you going to say? What are you going to do about it? This is the reason why some people get possessive or even this is how a lot of domestic abuse come in. Because people get clingy or people just don't believe that they can move on. If this is the case, I'm a mama's boy.
I have a question onto that.
Yeah?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, what if you said that the girl saying that, you're a mama's boy, right?
Yeah.
So, what if it's the case that anytime she asks you to do something, you don't do it, but as soon as your mother asks you to do something, you run and do it?
Okay. That all come down to the maturity. Yeah, and sometimes, to be honest, I used to have this problem even with my parents. My dad would be like this. He'll see you doing something and he'll tell you what to do this for him. Oh, go and get this for me. And he wants you to leave what you are doing and go and get it for him. I don't play that game. So it all depends on the priority of whatever the person is asking me to do. This is an emergency. No.
Well, let's just say that you want to, my car need to clean, right?
Yeah.
And all about a month passed and the car not clean. But then your mother said, oh, our car need to clean. And the next morning you wake up bright and early and go clean mommy car. And all no, your girlfriend car don't clean.
That's the thing. Is a person responsible for your car cleaning all the time, or is it just a favor you ask him?
But this is your husband or your wife, so this is your spouse.
Yeah, because why I'm asking that, is it that the person is gonna clean it himself or he's gonna take it to the car wash?
Either or, but it's still this is your wife. So your wife asks you,
right,
hey baby, can you clean my car? And you'd be like, yeah, I'll clean it or whatever, but you don't get to it right then. But then your mom calls and your mom's like, hey Boops, come clean my car for me. And then you, okay, good. And then you go, you get your mother's car clean, but you haven't gotten your wife's car clean yet.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit for real.
That's kind of like going in the line, like who comes first, like your wife or your mother.
It's not who comes first. It's all about decision making and maturity. Because if someone asks to do something and you can do it, you just do it. That's it.
I think
if I'm not gonna do it, I'm just not gonna do it for whatever reason it is. So.
Yeah, but why you would leave your wife's car and then go to your mother's car?
The reason why I'm saying that's what I'm saying. If you ask me to do it and I'm gonna do it, I'll do it. But if I'm not gonna do it, I'm just not gonna do it. Whether it's my mom,
if you say you're gonna do it and then don't do it, but then your mother asks you, and as a drop of the dial, you just jump and do it. You know, think that going to look suspicious?
Of course, definitely that's gonna look suspicious, and that's on him now. Even though the wife gonna jump off our car, the car was still. The mother can
do the same thing as well.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. The mother can do it, and the wife can do the same thing. So why
you could hold on. You could also analyze another part of it. How often does one act versus another? If one acts more than it's something that's done or whatever the case may be, compared to another that out of the blue, hey, can you do this for me? Sometimes people say, hey, this person don't really ask a lot or ask often, and they'll go that extra mile to get things done. Coming back to what you were saying earlier with the sharing of food and things being petty and stuff like that, I believe it's a rule of thumb growing. When they're younger ones, they get priority over at least for most people.
How I feel about the subject is I feel that my mom comes before all of it. spouse, no spouse, whatever. And I think I kind of make that kind of clear when I'm first meeting someone, that they can see like this is someone who takes a big priority in my life. Not saying that you're going to be neglected, but it's an understanding like, hey, you know, she's right up there top notch. I will say this, there's not going to be a situation where something happens and my mom's not going to win as far as my priority level. It's just not going to happen. But it's not like I'm going to shun who I'm with because my mom wants this or whatever. Like I kind of balance it out and not have it to where it's like, oh, my mom, my mom, my mom, you know, to where my spouse is like, every minute you run, you know, God, I can't get no time. You don't hang well with me. You don't
Right.
nothing with me. You know, so that's how I feel about that situation. When it comes to like fixing plates, my kid gets a plate first. There used to be an old saying like the man of the house gets the bigger piece of chicken, or he gets his plate first, the man of the house. So everything was kind of catered to the man of the house. But I think as time has progressed, it's more, you know, it's adjusted to who's in that situation. So my child gets her plate first before
Right.
anybody. Okay. Then after that, I make a plate, both plates equally. I have my mom's plate and I have my man's plate. Everybody gets their plate
Right.
same
Right.
time, and then I go back and I make my own plate, you know? But
Right.
it's not a
Yeah.
if it's a situation to where, you know, like you had to bring a plate to the table one at a time, I'm gonna bring it to my mom. Okay, so that concludes our topic for tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to follow us on Instagram at the Open Talk Show at Instagram. And make sure if you want to follow any of these guys, their links are below to their own personal Instagrams. We have Ja, we like to thank. We like to thank Driver, Trini, Goddess, and Styles. Hello. I'm your girl, Kels, and we appreciate you guys for the support. Mwah. Have a good night.